Well, afternoon, everybody. This week I wanted to talk about the close but no cigar situation from the weekend. I've got to say that actually on Saturday, the boys were absolutely fantastic. They ticked all the boxes of what I expect as a coach in terms of defence, aggression, helping their teammates out, and really selling themselves into that role of a rugby player on the weekend. And I couldn't have asked for anything more. I don't know what it was, if they'd woken up and had their Weetabix, or if they were, whether or not it was the opposition that we were playing, a team that we've come up against time and time again, and we just wanted to get that one-upmanship. I'm not sure, but whatever it was, I wish I could bottle it and see it every single week, because it was complete chalk and cheese between what happened with our heavy defeat the week before in regards to what happened last week. And the passion, the desire, the drive, all that sort of stuff was brilliant to see. And as a coach, I was genuinely really, really proud. Now, unfortunately, after 100 minutes of rugby, yes, you heard that right, 100 minutes of extra time, unfortunately, we went down by 3 points. And that is even harder to take than the week before, because it brings up that idea that what else could we have done? You know, what else did we need to put into play? What else did we need to work on in that week running up to it? What could I have done differently in that 100 minutes to even things up, change things round, give the boys a bit of a freshness? But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. So we will move on to next week and we will see what happens there. But actually, I think you learn quite a lot about your players. You learn quite a lot about the kind of other coaches in a really tight, resilient game, because it really shows that when it gets tough, what is the reaction of your players? And obviously very different to when we kind of got that heavy score put on us, where it was, you know, next job, move on. This week it was, things went well. And it was brilliant. The structure was there. The offloading game was there. The tackles, the determination was brilliant. But actually, the job this week has been a little bit difficult, because how do you pick players up? You know, they've given absolutely everything that we asked for. They've done it in the way that we asked for, and they didn't quite get over the line. So how does that work? What does that feel like? And that's been tough. That's been really difficult. And to add on top of that, unfortunately, I've not been available to go to training. I'm not available to coach this weekend either. Like I said hundreds of times before, we don't get paid for this. We do it on our own back. And unfortunately, sometimes life just kind of gets in the way. But some people listening, some people watching might really sort of resonate with this. But there is a massive sense of guilt that comes with the fact of not being there, not being available. And, you know, whether that's training, whether that's a game, it's really hard, especially as a head coach and especially as a coach of sort of an amateur level. I ask a lot of the boys that turn up. Ideally we expect them to be there twice a week, but at least once a week to train, and then turn up sort of weekend, week out. And that's quite a commitment. And for some people, you know, they can do that. For other people, they can't do that. And it's just understanding that, you know, rugby isn't everybody's life, unfortunately. And life happens around them. And, you know, like I said, for myself this weekend, I'm not around. I haven't been around at training this week. And that brings up that horrible feeling of guilt, but also brings up really strange emotions in regards to fear of missing out. Worry about the messages that I would have been put across in the same way, and with the same sort of determination and key messaging that I would do. And this is where it's been really interesting, this sort of last 18 months, really, because a year ago I would have been really struggling in terms of thinking, oh God, you know, are they going to stick to the same game plan? Are they going to do things that I want them to do in a certain way? But actually, I have complete trust in those coaches that have taken those sessions this week, and those coaches that will kind of be in charge of the boys on Saturday, because I know that we've sat down as a coaching group, we've discussed these through, we all know why we want to play this way, we all know what our aims of the season are. So even though I am not there, this club and this team and this, everything that kind of comes with it is bigger than one person. It can be relied on one person, hopefully, to be there week in, week out. But if they're not, then I know that what we've put in place at the start of this season has been really important. So other guys can just come in and do it that way. And I think that's really important as well.